Hey there. Have you ever just stopped and really looked at a clock or a calendar and wondered, why is it like this? I mean, we live our entire lives by these things. So today, let's pull back the curtain and decode the brilliant, ancient, and honestly, surprisingly messy system we all take for granted. It all kind of starts with a question that, when you think about it, is really strange. Why 24 hours in a day, but then this super awkward number like 365.25 for the year? And don't even get me started on 60 minutes and 60 seconds. On the surface, none of these numbers seem to have anything to do with each other. And you know what? The reason they feel so random is because they are. Our clocks and calendars aren't some law of nature. They are one of the oldest and most brilliant inventions of humanity, a clever system we built to bring some order to the chaotic, beautiful dance of the cosmos. To really get it, we've got to start with the basics. The most fundamental unit of time that we all experience, the day. Okay, so this part is pretty straightforward. A day is just the time it takes for our planet to do one full spin. You know, sunrise, sunset, and do it all over again. It's the most basic rhythm of our lives, and it's all thanks to pure physics. Simple enough. But here's the catch. Physics gives us the day, but it says absolutely nothing about splitting it into hours. There's no natural reason for it to be 24 parts. So where on earth did that number come from? Well, believe it or not, we have the ancient Egyptians to thank for this. They used a base 12 system for counting. So they took the daytime and divided it into 10 hours. Then they added one special hour for the twilight at dawn and another one for dusk. That gave them a neat 12 hours of daylight. And from there, it just made sense to apply the same logic to the nighttime, giving us a grand total of 24 hours for one full day. Okay, so that explains the hours, but what about minutes and seconds? For that, we need to travel to a completely different ancient civilization and focus on a whole new number, 60. This magic number comes to us from the ancient Babylonians. They loved a base 60 system, and for good reason. 60 is an amazing number for math. You can divide it cleanly by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12. You get the idea. It's super convenient. Their system was so useful that it just stuck. And that's the direct reason why we have 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute. All right, day sorted. Now let's zoom out to the next unit of time, the month. And to understand the month, you have to look up at our planet's restless companion, the moon. For thousands and thousands of years, the most obvious clock in the sky wasn't the sun, it was the moon. It has these really clear phases, right? From a tiny sliver to a big, bright full moon, and all the way back again. That whole cycle takes about 29.5 days. It was so predictable, so easy to see, it became the natural basis for what we call the month. But, and this is a huge but, this created a massive headache. On one side, you have the lunar year. If you just stack up 12 moon cycles, you get a year that's about 354 days long. But on the other side, you've got the solar year, the time it actually takes for the seasons to repeat, and that's about 365 days long. That 11-day gap doesn't sound like much, but for a calendar, it's a disaster. It meant that any calendar based only on the moon would drift and fast. Your summer planting festival would eventually end up happening in the middle of winter. It was this nagging, central problem that vexed astronomers for centuries. So, societies had a choice to make, and for the most part, especially for things like farming, they decided to follow the sun. This led them to the biggest challenge of all, trying to accurately measure the year. Because here's the brutally inconvenient truth. A year isn't a nice, round 365 days. It's actually about 365.25 days. Or if you want to be super precise about it, it's 365.2425 days. And that tiny little fraction, it changes everything. So what do you do with that? You can't have a quarter of a day on your calendar. This was the ultimate puzzle. How do you keep the calendar locked to the seasons year after year without that annoying quarter day throwing the whole system off track? The solution they came up with is, honestly, pure genius. And it came in two main steps. First, the Julian calendar, from Julius Caesar, introduced a simple fix. Just add one extra day every 4 years. A leap year. That gets you really, really close. But because the year isn't exactly 365.25 days long, even that tiny error adds up over the centuries. So in 1582, the Gregorian calendar added one more clever rule. We just skip the leap day on most century years. This tiny adjustment is the system we still use today, and it's so accurate it'll keep our seasons in check for thousands of years. So when you put it all together, from the seconds on your phone to the year on your wall, you realize what a monumental human achievement this whole thing really is. Our entire system of time is a brilliant, messy, constantly tweaked solution to a cosmic puzzle. It's not perfect, but it's an incredible piece of engineering designed to make the mismatched cycles of the Earth, Moon, and Sun make sense to us down here on the ground. So, let's wrap it up. The day, with its 24 hours and 60 minutes, is a direct inheritance from Egyptian and Babylonian math. The month is basically a leftover, a messy compromise from our ancient attempts to follow the moon. And the year is only kept on track thanks to the simple, absolute genius of the leap day. It's a patchwork quilt of history, astronomy, and pure human ingenuity. You know, this entire system is one of our oldest and greatest inventions, which leaves us with one last thought. As we continue to explore the universe, from the quantum realm to distant galaxies, what new clocks are we going to have to invent to make sense of it all? Thanks for joining me.